It is pen and pencil time. That's because it's lesson time, guys, and that means it's scalping lesson time. We get so many questions specifically about scalping. Yes, the market changed this year. Things have been going down, but that doesn't mean there aren't specific scalping ideas that we can't still apply on an intraday basis. We're going to tell you about a few right now.
Absolutely, and I know everyone wants to hear Shawn talk about scalping, so I'll give you one simple one because I probably don't do it as much. But like, I think the times, you have to pick your spots. And for scalp trades, you're talking about a shorter duration style of trade where you can maybe load up at a key level, get in and out multiple times, and then capitalize on not as much necessary price movement. So the first thing is, how do you identify one of those levels? I say keep it simple. And I'm going to start with Neal here, and I'll start with, even on a higher time frame, just a quick look at this at about 1780, which is the 50-period moving average, and resistance, and then now if I come to the higher time frame, let's forget about how good this was as a big level yesterday, both shorting off of and then going long at that 785, 780 area, and then running away from that price. So that's where you're set up. You had that support there yesterday. And then at the open, I'm not talking about catching at the open when you had the crazy moves, comes down here 785. Nah, forget about that. I'm not talking about the short. It's just when it comes back into this price and gives you this nice little tight consolidation there. It presents you with a range, right? Like, it comes down to what was already a significant level on a daily chart, and it was a significant level the day before. It was a significant level at the open. And then the market consolidates here, not even a lot of volume. It just goes back and forth in a nice little 10-cent range. The second it gets out of it, it's a nice little clean 15, 20, 30-cent winners into VWAP. And then it presents itself with a higher low as well. Now, I only got back into this, probably around like almost 2 o'clock here off this 18 level. But again, just trying to take this consolidation into VWAP. And it's really just about identifying a significant level ahead of time. And then if it trades accepting that price level after the fact, then you can start to get in. But you're not really, you don't want to necessarily be guessing at what that level is going to be. Sometimes you just want to see it, hold the level first, and then get in after.
All right, so I was basically going to say kind of the same stuff here, but I feel like the number one thing when you're trying to scalp in a market that's like this, I mean, you have to just have a bias one way or the other and then just kind of stick with it and just kind of scalp until your levels are broken one way or the other. And I think that, like, for Facebook, we saw how strong it was yesterday. I mean, let me just show you yesterday first so I can show you the bias. Like, this was yesterday. Facebook super strong until the end of the day right now where we started to come back in. So I was really thinking today that we would be strong on Facebook once again, right? So I had a bias for the long side. So if we just have a look today, and maybe I'll just zoom this out like this, all of these trades here, we waited for a key level to come in. And again, the NASDAQ started to come down. And look what we did. If you look at yesterday's, maybe again, I can zoom back out here. But yesterday, we had all this consolidation down here around 190. So what you have to do if you're going to scalp is you got to wait. Like I just said, pick your position and then pick your direction. Like, pick your stock and then pick your direction. So we left Facebook alone here because there's no levels into here. We waited until we saw some consolidation. Maybe right here we could have got in, but that was too early. That's at like 9:30. So we let Facebook come in here down into 190 into a past level. And remember, we're just trying to look long. So every time it comes in here, and now we can zoom in to talk about a little bit of how the scalp works. It comes in, we start buying 191s, but we don't get out when it breaks because it comes down to 190.50. And again, this is going to be close to our breaking spot of around 190. But look what happens. Then all of a sudden it resists the 190 break and boom, back to the upside. Now I have this 50 period. I have this on here because that's what I use for trend changes to try to pick, if there's a bottom, where do we get out when it starts to move back upside? So here's a good example on this one. We get these average prices, then we just start getting out when it comes back up to the upside. That's a 190.50. That's a 192 fill right there, right? So a little light, 191.80 fill. So again, we're taking these fills, giving us an average price of like 190.80. That's a dollar worth of a win. If it drops down, we're going to lose $1. So we start taking it out. Then as it goes back up to the upside, we take another out as it gets to VWAP. And look where we're averaging in. We like the long. So a pullback to the 50 period, we'll take it. Out again, out. Then it breaks the 50 period on NASDAQ weakness. Look at the trend here. How many down to, like when it's just barcoding like this, and maybe I'll try to zoom in one more time here for you. When the stocks are just barcoding, that's when we want to buy some of these. When it's moving like this, like straight to the downside, and you can sense that when watching the NASDAQ and things like that, that's when you just want to get out of your trade, let it continue to fall, and then guess what? Make the same trade again. We were buying it early at these levels, so we buy it again here. Look, 191. Look at these outs. 40s, 25s, 40s. Then it goes up, 50s, makes those highs. Probably should have got out more there. Then it comes right back down, and we average it again. So here's a live trade taken for you. And guess where I'm going to get out? I'm sitting right here, 91.20. You might see me get out of some of this as we go. So our Facebook long is 91.05. We're going to try to average this out. You guessed it, right at the 50 period. That's that stock. Another thing you could do, we just took this on Micron. So look for names that have gotten beat down, right? So remember, we're scalping. We're scalping, that's the whole point of this. Today we had Micron to the short side. Beautiful trade there, 72. You don't have to scalp this one. We do it because, again, it comes to 71. We get some out at 71. It's a dollar winner. It comes down, we get out at 70, 50. Then we leave the last one to see how bad it's going to get. Then we get out again on a breakthrough 70. But guess what? Just because it's a down day doesn't mean you can't find strength in the name. So it gave us this bottom at 69.70, right? That's 30 cents on this break. So there it goes. It breaks back through 70. Remember, my out was going to be 30 cents. Look what happens. The top side, that's a 40 print. That's 20s. That's 20s again. We are now out. Remember, it's a negative stock, but it breaks a key level. We play the VWAP, then we play this range again up here. Out again. Now we'll hold this against 70 one more time. So long story short, I know it's maybe a little bit confusing. Talk fast, look at some fast examples here, but I think you got to find key levels. Plus, you got to just know the way you want to go, stick with it. You always hear us say you don't want to get chopped up, and that's like, I'm going long, then I'm going short, then I'm going long. Oh, they're all wrong. Pick your way. If it doesn't work, take the small hit like that example I gave. If it works out for you, hold on to that last 25% or so in case you're right and the rip happens. So that's how I scalp these markets, and I think it will continue to work.
I love the idea of having a bias because it forces you to have a plan going into the trade, not just waiting to see what is going to happen. We always talk about having a reason for why the stock is moving in one direction. And it can be, as Shawn was saying, as simple as what happened yesterday. Very, very strong yesterday. So that gives you an indication of overall which direction we should be moving. Great ideas there, guys, for scalping, even though, yeah, it's a bear market right now.